close to the end of NBTC. This is Brian Wong from Keep.
Hey,
I'm
man.
going to ask him a few questions.
Cool.
So you talked about gamification in your talk, and I want to know what other industries gamification is going to be used, and the whole idea of making a play out of things is going to be used. You're in the advertising industry, and I'm sure there's a lot of options out there for this idea to be used. So what are your ideas behind this?
Yeah, man. So, as I mentioned in the talk, the word gamification I don't really like a lot because it's just identifying what's already happening. And this notion of play is baked into everybody, and it's going to be pretty much everywhere, whether or not you want it to be.
Right.
It already started with loyalty. It was a very basic form. It was very sort of rudimentary and immature. But now that it's evolved, like I had mentioned, advertising is definitely going to benefit from it. But there's definitely areas like health and fitness, of course, that we're starting to see sort of adding these game elements to being able to create experiences that are just more enhanced, that follow more about what we already know and are used to.
Right.
And so I think the possibilities are pretty much endless. Any industry, whether it be education, health and fitness, and entertainment, are some of the sort of top three that we're starting to see this stuff happen to, but I think it's only going to continue and it's going to evolve as we see more businesses profiting off of it. I think when you see validated case studies of businesses that enjoy obviously a lot more revenue and a lot more sort of traction from it, then it's just going to mature more and more and more.
That's pretty cool. And I understand you're from Vancouver, right?
Yes.
Awesome. And why did you choose to go to the US and start a startup there? I know you got hired at Dig, but what's the story?
Yeah, so I was there already,
Right.
and I had this idea, and I was like, why not? And it happens to be the epicenter where all the VC dollars are, and the smart people are pretty much all there in technology, or at least pass through there at some point. So I'm not hating on Canada, I just think that you have the opportunity to be in an environment that's incredibly conducive to your strengths,
Right.
and that may actually be the most important reason as to why I decided to stay in the US.
Right, and you didn't have issues losing devs to Facebook and Twitter and all those big guys, right?
No.
Cool. You talked about the fact that the next generation is not going to know the world without the iPhone, right? And what do you see that shaping in new products, and how can businesses leverage that idea?
Yeah, so it's really the mobile natives that we're starting to see, which is what this is really depicting. I think when you look at how mobile's affecting our entire lives, it's really that one word that I mentioned, which is choice. So if businesses understand more about how choice is going to influence all of our decisions, that we can really choose anything. We have no reason to need you, right? That's the best part. And that's, sure, it comes from competition, but it also comes from accessibility, right? That I can really go anywhere that I want to find you, and I have the ability to choose you whenever I want, right? This on-demand element. So if you're available,
Right.
and you are open, and you are human, I think people will really appreciate what you can bring to the table.
That's pretty cool. One last question I had from you is, why did you name your startup Keep?
So it's a play on the word keep, of course,
Yeah.
and the two I's is really an homage to the we, and the two I's there, and the fact that we couldn't find a domain with EE. But it's really a play on words, so you'll be like, keep them playing, keep them happy, it's a keeper, keep it real, keep going, keep it up, I mean, on and on and on, right?
I was
keep
curious because
saying,
you're very into branding. And
yeah, that's the reason.
know,
It's a single syllable, catchy name that people will always remember when they now think of moments and rewards.
Cool. And one last thing, actually, what's your favorite piece of technology?
I think obviously the phone has really, smartphones are really cool, but not to be super cliche, I think NFC is going to be really, really blowing up. I think the ability to sort of interact with devices by not needing to explicitly pull out a piece of plastic, or at least touching things, is really cool. And I think it'll only be adopted when a company like Apple, actually, that's really good at simplifying things, can actually not talk about it as if it's called NFC, which nobody outside of nerds will know about, and can actually create something that people will actually be able to relate to.
I think that's an exciting space. So thanks a lot for
Awesome,
coming.
appreciate it, man.
Nice
Cool.
to meet you. Cheers. Thanks, guys.